Alright guys, if you watched my video from a few weeks ago about what to bring on a drag and drive, you probably heard me complaining about the fact that I had to get out 3 different tool bags and a parts kit just to change the jets on this carburetor. And I talked about how for my next event I wanted to make a toolkit specifically for working on a carburetor, since it's something I have to do every day. Well, WAF Racing beat me to it with this Carb Toolkit 2.0, so let's test this thing out. So we're going to do this in 2 parts. Part 1 is going to be just kind of going through the kit, showing what's in it, showing what all it fits in there, and how to use the kit. Part 2, we're going to actually start tuning on the car and changing stuff and seeing how things go. That one's going to come out later because obviously it takes more time to tune the car and drive it and do testing and stuff like that. So this is part 1. Stay tuned later on for part 2. Alright, so the first order of business is we got to make some room on the workbench. Been doing a bunch of wiring lately, so you can see all my wiring tools spread out here. So we got to make some space to do some testing here. Now that that's out of the way. Alright, so in this toolkit, we've got a wrench. It's laser cut. Looks like it's probably for maybe float bowl adjustment. We've got this power valve tool here, which is pretty cool. I usually use just a crescent wrench to do this job because I don't have a 1-inch wrench. And I always tear up the gasket using a crescent wrench, so this might be able to let me save those gaskets. A couple of screwdrivers. This one's for idle circuit adjustment. Another screwdriver for your float level screw, your squirters, or maybe even your jets there. Probably use this one for your jets too. For taking the bowl off, and for doing your accelerator pump. These are all labeled here in the parts, which is kind of neat if you forget what it's for. And then there is a thing on here that you can actually put your jets in. Same thing with the air bleeds as well. And there's some other spots in here built into the base. These are probably for squirters or something is my guess. We'll see. So all this stuff fits nicely in this small kit. You can keep this in your glove box or your center console or something like that if you've got one. The hard part for me is remembering how all this stuff goes back in here. There. Easy as that. Maybe it goes this way. That's better. What I'm going to do now is probably take and set up this guy with the jets. These are labeled front and rear. So you can think of that primary, secondary. What I'm going to do is, since I just put 76s in here, this has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slots for pairs. So I'm going to pick one of these middle ones, and I'm going to call this the 76, and then I'm going to screw in my 78s. And then my secondaries, I took out these 86s, so I'm going to put them in here as well. Alright, now on both of these, I'm going to skip a slot here and leave these open just so I kind of know where I'm at, where my starting point was. So now I've got, what did I just say? Now I've got the 78s in here. I'm probably going to put 80s, 82s, 84s, leave this one open for the 76s, 74, 72, and 70. Ta-da! So, okay. Now I got this guy full of jets, and it goes back in here, in this little slot down here. Alright, so looking at the website here, power valves go over here in this corner. This is for squirters here. This spot over here is for accelerator pump cams. And obviously this guy's for air bleeds, and the gaskets actually sit underneath here. And we'll get this kit set up with the rest of the stuff that we're going to need out of this big kit. So like I said, we'll take these gaskets, we'll stuff them under here. Alright, let's put the rest of the tools in here and see if we've got room for the other parts that I usually bring with me. Alright, accelerator pump diaphragms. So those fit in there. Spare needle and seat here. Probably just toss this down here as well. Power valve gaskets, we'll just kind of just toss them on top of this power valve here. Now I've got a couple of these bowl gaskets here too, that I keep just in case I lose some of mine. What I'll probably do is I'll probably just drop them in this hole for now. They'll come out of there probably when this thing gets shaken around, but that should be okay. Here's also a needle and seat rebuild kit here. Let's see if there's any stuff right in there. Actually, I could take this and just stuff it right in there. There. And it still closes. Look at that. So, I used to carry this in a bag of these and 3 different tool bags. And now it all fits in here. And yeah, like I said, I could probably just keep this in the glove box or the center console or whatever, and then when I need it, just pop it open, and there it is. So we'll talk about this thing when I go to set the idle circuit later. Yeah, you saw the rest of these. This guy's for the accelerator pump. I'm not going to mess with that today, but yeah. We'll check out that screwdriver later, and then this job will be done for today. Alright, that's going to do it for part 1 of this video. Stay tuned later for part 2 that's going to be coming out, where we actually do some tuning on the car. We'll make a jet change, we'll do an accelerator pump squirter change, and see what that does for the tune-up on the car. Unfortunately, it's going to be a few days before we get to really take this car out, since we got a massive snowstorm here in Missouri, and after 666, I don't really have any tread left on my tires, so I don't know what happened there. But as soon as we get some clear roads out here, we'll get some miles down on this car and see if we can't get this tune-up all dialed in with this WAF Racing kit. Stay tuned.